Hello everyone, today I thought I'd take a look at Tarzan comic strips from 1932. Now, this is part of the collection I picked up in a previous video you might have seen from a comic show, the Mississauga Spring Edition 2023 comic show. It's attached to the Toy Expo. At that show, I saw a guy selling stacks and stacks of old newspaper comic strips. Somebody, I guess in Oklahoma somewhere, had collected this stuff in the 30s and 40s and 50s. The earliest ones in that collection were these Tarzan strips. Now, these are, here's my hand, they're basically Sunday edition papers. And what this person did was they took the entire page of Tarzan comics, and they're right from the newspaper. I'll show you quickly. On the back are other comics. And this guy didn't care about these comics. But it's very interesting to take a look back in time here at what comics were published in the States, at least, in Oklahoma, at least, in the 1930s. But Tarzan, of course, was top billing. It was enormous at this time. And we're going to try and take a look at all of the strips from the 1932 editions that I have in this collection. Not all of the weeks are represented. Sometimes they slipped up here and there. For the most part, they're all here. So we're going to go through all of these. I won't read them out. Hopefully you should be able to take a look at them in this video. Alright, so here we go. This is Tarzan from January 10th, 1932, Dance of Victory. And let me show the back. I showed this before. I don't know what comic that is, but this is old Doc Yak. Looks like an anthropomorphic animal comic. And here's just a random thing at the bottom margin. This is from the Daily Oklahoman, Sunday edition. This is from January 31st. Let's see what's on the back of it. Here's the bottom margin here with different characters and stuff. The Gumps and old Doc Yak. $0.10 a copy in 1932. Isn't that kind of expensive for 1932? Like, I'm not trying to joke or anything. So here's the Sunday edition. Next week, The Test of a Hero. See what's on the back here. The Gumps again. And old Doc Yak. These don't really make it through the rest of the year, I noticed. Try and get a bit more of the right margin here. This is from April 3rd, 1932. Lots of great mood lighting here with the monkeys and the moon. The Coming of Karba is coming up next week, and here's the bottom margin here. Here are the Gumps again, and old Doc Yak. Let's move this down a bit. Okay. This is April 10th, 1932. And they're fighting off hostiles here. And get in trouble with a shark. All in one page. That's pretty awesome. The Return of Captain Barry is coming up next. The Gumps and Old Doc Yak again. And a comic stamp you can cut out. I see a lot of that in these newspapers where you could cut out a stamp. I don't really know how you stick it, but it's just something to collect, I guess. Tarzan, April 17th, 1932. And next week, Tarzan and the Lion Tamer. And you got this masked character here. The Gumps and Old Doc Yak. Let's credit to Sidney Smith. And here's another comic stamp. This is from May 1st, 1932. And the color in this one's kind of faded, but the art is still there. It's still amazing. And here Tarzan fights a lion who's run amok in a circus. And next week, I guess we'll see more of the woman in the black mask. You've got new features. Thompkins Corner. Sneed and Elmer get their man. This looks like it's just an ad for this cereal, Post Toasties. That's Post from the same cereal maker from today, without their trademark logo. And it's cornflakes. If you've ever listened to radio shows of the 30s, it's hilarious how they really boost these cereals and promote them. Makes me want to eat some of them because, you know, it's like, oh, I'll give you a kick and all this stuff. Here's Tarzan from May 8th, 1932. So the mask comes off, and what does she look like underneath? Dun dun dun. So this is a villain in this comic strip. I'm not sure if there's an equivalent in the books, but this is pretty cool. So she sends her wildcats out to attack. Let's see what's on the back this time. Ah, the Gumps. And Old Doc Yak again. And here's another comic stamp. Here's Tarzan from May 15th, 1932. Tarzan's beating up hostile foes. And the masked woman is like, again, you have saved my life, the woman said. And so they're chatting. Crying the wilds is up next. And here are the Gumps and Old Doc Yak again. I'm going to do more research on these guys. I don't know if they're just local or likely nationally syndicated, but so here's Tarzan from May 22nd, 1932. And I like when they're titling these things too, A Cry in the Wilds. And here the masked lady is tending to her cats, and go back to her cage there. Next is Black and White Magic. Let's take a look at the back. New features. Bucky and His Pals by Rob L. Dickey. And Mr. and Mrs. Beans. Well drawn stuff. I love all this. You know, I hate how, I mean, it's just me. I hate how comic strips have sort of devolved into just shapes and blobs. They still fulfill the requirement of cartooning in that it's always identical, you know, going through each panel, but I don't know. I love the way all this stuff is drawn back in these days. So here's Tarzan from June 5th, 1932. The Miracle Woman of the Jungle. And next week, Robbery in the Jungle. Let's see what's on the back. Looks like a Grape Nuts commercial, but it's all one big comic. I love this, that they made these big comic stories for these for these ads, you know. Frank Makes the Grade, an advertisement of General Foods. Grape Nuts is still around. It's just not really marketed to kids or anything. Just old people like me. So this is pretty cool. Great work, boy. Say, aren't you the kid that wants to be a fireman? You're hired. Just like that. Tell me, where did you get all that energy? Well, that's simple, Chief. You know what he's going to say. I've been eating grape nuts every day for years. So there you go, man. This young lad has been eating grape nuts and he got the energy to save people in fires. That's awesome. I love that. Tarzan, this is from June 12th, 1932. He's saying goodbye to the masked woman. He's in the jungle. He's doing his thing, making his fire. Yeah, and he's I'm just reading some of this here. He's thinking about his life in London. As Lord Greystoke, everything was done for his comfort. Now, as his weapon was ready, he shouted in triumph through the jungle silences, as if in challenge to unseen enemies. And then someone tries to attack him here. Stranger in the Night is next. Let's see what's on the back here. It's Bucky and His Pals by Rob L. Dickey, or I. Dickey. It's probably L. And Mr. and Mrs. Beans. And the color on these has sort of like faded over the years. That Grape Nuts ad, though, was pretty colorful. Daily Oklahoman, Sunday edition. June 19th, 1932. Color's pretty vibrant on this one. So someone is stealing Tarzan's weapons, stalking him, and then comes to attack. Tarzan was about to strike when he recognized his own son, Korak the Killer. There you go. It's really Korak. The Gumps. And old Doc Yak again. They're back. They're probably elsewhere in the comics section. They just weren't on the back of Tarzan, right? All right. Tarzan from July 16th, 1932. When there's no date up top, I tend to look at the dates that the cartoonist would put, usually towards the end of the strip run here, the strip sequence. So someone is throwing a helpless human off like a stone thing here, and Tarzan's gonna swoop in and save them. Alright, another Grape Nuts commercial. So this whole big ad is to promote Grape Nuts to kids. I guess it was a kid cereal at one point, just like most cereals are, but Grape Nuts is not known for being a kid cereal. My child, I've called the police and offered a $500 reward for these pearls. And you shall have it, but my goodness, where did you get that energy? Well, that's simple, Miss Doc Bond. Well, that's her name, eh? My mother brought me up on Grape Nuts. Dun! There you go. I'm just looking at what you get here. Look, boys and girls, 3 colored balloons for 1 Grape Nuts package top. Oh, I guess that was a big thing in the 30s, like gang balloons. It's nothing now, but times have changed. The return of young Buana. This is from July 31st, 1932. The art is still amazing. They're all credited to Hal Foster. Inspector Post. I found a few of these, and not knowing that it was promoting Post cereals, I thought it was a character named Inspector Post, like a legitimate thing. No, it's a Post cereal commercial. So, Inspector Post and his junior detective aides. And it's a whole page of comics dedicated to promoting Post cereals. Gee, I'm glad we brought these Post Toasties along. This waiting makes me hungry. That's right. Eat all you want. They help make you strong and healthy, and that's what detectives must be. So they're detecting some crap here. These are bad guys, I'm assuming. And then they find this guy trying to saw his way out. Come on out, Dynamite Dan. We've got a surprise party for you. You're a clever crook, Dynamite Dan, but you forgot to wipe the mud from your shoes when you came from the tunnel. Oh, so it was real detective work. That's more than the Batman. Anyway, that's my dig at the Batman. That was clue enough for a junior detective. And there you go. You can join his junior detective corps. Meanwhile, you just get Post cornflakes cereal. I love this stuff. Like, this is craziness. This whole thing is like for General Foods, like Post cornflakes is awesome. I guess in the end, Kellogg's won the cornflakes wars, I suppose. This is from August 7th, 1932. I love this little illustration here. So the Daily Oklahoman, still 5 cents a copy. 12 pages of comics. That's awesome. And these kids reading comics on the ground, because these things are huge, right? The color on this page has really held up over the years. This is incredible. So here he is riding a hippo. That's awesome. Climbing here. That's great. Then Tarzan fell. This is from August 14th, 1932. Oh, did we take a look at the back of that? Probably not. Here's a little brother And the Bungle family, who I guess just, like, they're clumsy. I don't know. Alright. I want to be sure to get the backs of these, because there's some interesting stuff back there, so. So yes, August 14th, 1932. So he's falling from the previous thing. Not all of these continue only because whoever it was that collected these didn't get every week. But that's okay. What they got was incredible, and they probably didn't know that, like, way in the future a thing called the internet would would show a lot of this stuff on something called YouTube. But there you go. So here he's sitting on this little perch here, and he's gonna start climbing again. These monkeys want to I think they want to help him. So one of them clambered down to him. The others took their posts in the crevices in the rock. That's cool. And then they're gonna help him up monkey by monkey. That's awesome. That's wicked. The next one at the graveyard of the elephants. Let's take a look at the back. Little brother, which is just that strip here, and the rest of this is the Bungle family. A bigger chunk here. That's, I don't know who did the Bungle family, or a little brother for that matter. Oh, here we go. H.J. Tuthill for the Bungle family. I don't know about little brother, unless you guys see something. Tarzan from August 21st. His men refused to follow. The graveyard of the elephants was sacred. For man to enter into it was forbidden. In panic, they all take off. And here it is. That's awesome. He was startled by a voice crying in French, "Who's there?" And this guy has a rifle and he shoots at him. Now, he tied the message tight to this little monkey here, hoping Tarzan would get it. Then he fainted. Will Tarzan reach him in time? This has been torn. It wasn't my doing. But I'll keep it as intact as I can. Here's another Inspector post. A brand new mystery adventure where they're solving a crime. There's gunplay and everything, and this is to promote post cereals. At the time, I guess they had a cornflake, and they weren't beaten at the game by Kellogg's, because when I think of cornflakes, I think of Kellogg's cornflakes, right? Whereas his hands up, you won't need that money where you're going phony Phil. So I guess it's like counterfeit or something. Gee, that was a swell job. I'm glad we belong to Inspector Post Junior Detective Corps, which you can sign up for down here. You bet. And these Post Toasties help to make us quick and strong. Aren't they keen? So there you go. This is awesome. He's got them at gunpoint here. Yeah, that's what it is. We've got $500,000 in phony money here. We'll get ready to make our getaway tomorrow if our plan works. So yeah, so they figure it out and get them. Because they're fueled by the power of Post cornflakes. That's incredible. I love that. That's great stuff. Alright, man. Tarzan from September 11th, 1932. Attack of the Pterodactyls. That's great. Look at that guy. So here, Tarzan's inspecting this guy here, who sent a message. Let us go, said Tarzan. But at that moment, dude, they get attacked by pterodactyls. A long neck shot out, and a fierce beak made a thrust at Von Harbin. Grab Tarzan, I guess. Oh no, Tarzan tries to punch it. Oh, that's awesome. Tarzan leaped high and met the pterodactyl. So here he is kind of like leaping backwards and punching the neck of this thing. Then the ape-man pushed the explorer to the protection of the elephant's skeleton. Here for a moment, they were safe. All right, let's look at the back. Another Grape Nuts commercial. Wow, they're really hawking Grape Nuts. There is a racial stereotype here. But, you know, it's the 1930s, man. What do you want? I'm not going to point it out for you, but it's here. Alf bounces back. Alf means something different to me, but I'm sure it's like Alfie or something like that is what that really means. I just want to get to the pitch. My hat's off. Yeah, some of this has been cut off by whoever cut out the Tarzan book. That's okay. This package, I've eaten Grape Nuts nearly every morning for a year. Yeah, so that's how they did all this, whatever it is. Look, it's cut. So they cut the lawn and everything. Free Jolly Jim, the energy clown. Look how creepy that guy is. Get him free with 2 Grape Nuts package tops. He bounces back to... What is that? Like a ball or a... Wait, you'll have a barrel of fun with Jolly Jim. He's nearly 2 feet tall. Okay, so it's like a blow-up thing, I guess, with feet. Get him simply by sending in the tops. Okay, I just want to know what it is, though. Yeah, I'm gonna look this guy up. Jolly Jim. Whoo! Even back then, clowns looked creepy. Like, what was up with that? So this is Tarzan from September 18th, 1932. They're taking shelter from the pterodactyls in this ribcage here. And they take off, but the pterodactyls come at them. At the other end of the passageway, a little Nima greeted them with shrieks of delight. So they're safe now from the pterodactyls, and they're all celebrating here. That's awesome. Oh, that night when Tarzan and Von Harben made their plans to trail the Gigantosaurus. So I'm sure we'll see a dinosaur soon. Like another dinosaur. Oh, let's look at the back, I guess. Bucky and his pals. And Mr. and Mrs. Beans. And there's no real credits here. Alright, it's a different masthead here. The Daily Oklahoman, Sunday edition, the Southwest's greatest Sunday newspaper. 12 pages of comics, 5 cents a copy. And this is September 25th, 1932. Yeah, this is all credited to Hal Foster. And like in this page alone, there's monkeys, elephants. That's an incredible drawing there. Pterodactyls. They're shooting at them. And they go into this cave. And then, look, cried Tarzan. From the slimy depths rose a Gigantosaurus. And it's like a big snake. Like the head is like easily the size of one of these two. And reaches great neck out toward them. It might be a dinosaur. Yeah, I think it's a dinosaur, actually, with a big head that looks like a snake. But I think that's the rest of the body there. Wow. All sorts of stuff to convey. This was artistry right here. Like, this is cartooning. It's incredible. Let's take a look at the back. It's little brother again, and the Bungle family. And he gets a credit. H.G. Tuthill. McNaught Syndicate, Inc., New York. And here they're advertising the Weekday Comics. So it's like, it's Buck Rogers. That's awesome. No, that's Tailspin Tommy, sorry. And Buck Rogers is going to be in another. That's Tailspin Tommy, Alice Cinders, and Andy Gump. Wow. If I'm not mistaken, there was a Tailspin Tommy, like, either movie or serial. I could be mistaken, but I know they made serials, at least, of a lot of these comic characters. Especially the adventure ones where it's just people. This is a nice colorful page. So this is from October 2nd, 1932. Tarzan into the Primal Swamp. So here's the big, and it's 2 panels that connect. That's the big Gigantosaurus they were encountering the last time. And I don't know, it doesn't care about these two, it takes off. So they're going to trail it now. Now I don't know what they think they're going to do here. Anyways, they get on top of it, but it rises up and it's big. It looks like, what was the name of that dinosaur from the very early cartoon? Like Greta? Looks like that. Anyways, it's trying to lunge towards them, but they're going to jump in here. Great stuff. I wouldn't be disappointed by this one page here. It's incredible. Like, no wonder this person had clipped all this stuff out. So this is all from Los Angeles Times. We were looking at Oklahoma. I guess whoever it is, like whoever this was, kept this, but someone had been collecting all of these. And that's the collection I bought. On the back here from the LA Times, Winnie Winkle, the Breadwinner, by Branner. And Mr. and Mrs. I'm just reading this, sorry. Yeah, this just looks like funny comics. So Tarzan more with this Gigantosaurus. This is from October 9th. So here they're in the water and here it comes trying to get them. It's like a big brontosaurus-ish type of thing. And Tarzan's climbing to get more of a vantage point. His friend, Von Harpen, I think his name was, is about to be attacked. And Tarzan leaps down with his knife and knifes the monster. And he's plunged underwater. Dun dun dun, that's awesome. So it flings Tarzan. He goes careening into a tree. At that moment, the monster rose to his full height and reached out. So now it's trying to attack Tarzan. What a great set of panels. Take a look at the back. Winnie Winkle, the Breadwinner, and Mr. and Mrs. again. Don't tell me they're married. I guess so. Let's readjust this. Okay, this is a great colorful page here from 1932. I'm trying to get the date here. It's October 16th, 1932. Tarzan is now fighting this dinosaur. Look at this awesomeness. And this is all connected, but it's 2 different panels. Like the wind, he hurtled himself from tree to tree. Here comes the dinosaur after him. I love the red background. It's terrific. It's really like dramatic. And it pops. And so Tarzan climbs higher. Here's the dinosaur trying to get at him and tries to climb the tree too. And tries to bring down the tree. That's great. And here Tarzan is trying to get out of the way. And he takes his knife out. But this time the monster was upon him. Tarzan leaped for the neck. He swung his body around to the back. As he plunged his knife again and again into the neck, the wild hissing sound filled the forest. Holy action, man. This is incredible stuff. I love this too. Just a random, like, graphic for the gist of the rest of the comic paneling. It's incredible stuff. Okay, let's take a look at the back. This is still Los Angeles Times. Winnie Winkle. And Mr. and Mrs. again. Now tomorrow I begin dieting. No kidding. What, again? I don't know. It has its audience, man. It's got its following. Tarzan. Tyrannosaurus Rex. So this is October 30th. Just taking a look at the last thing. Was October 16th. So in that, I don't know if between jurisdictions things change up. No, it doesn't seem like it does. Tarzan's escaping with his friend here. And here comes a T-Rex. And fans, Tarzan's keen eye chanced upon it. So all this is connected, and there's sort of half-hearted paneling. I love that. It's like, whatever, you know. That's cool. The partly hidden entrance to a cave. Into it, he dove with the explorer under his arms. Tyrannosaurus Rex crashed against the wall as he reached for them. For a long time after Von Harbin recovered from his faint, he and the ape-man remained at bay, until they saw the Tyrannosaurus go off to feed upon the Gigantosaurus Tarzan had slain. So they go in further into this cavern. The explorer's flashlight played upon Tarzan as he led the way ever upward through a low, narrow tunnel. So they get up to surface here. They found themselves on the bank of a great river, and the sight that met their eyes made them halt suddenly. What is it? The menacing stream. Inspector Post, here to sell you more Post Toasties cornflakes, man. Listen, you can't get enough, right? Because the thing is, it makes you solve crimes. Like, just like this. But this is all, like, it's an actual mystery thing. Let's go through this one, because I haven't really been going through these. So it's like, some of this is cut off. So you're friends of Inspector Post, eh? Well, that's just the reason we got ya here. That's the way it's written. Yeah, you can do us a little favor. So I tied up the kid sleuths here. Here, kid, I want you to write Inspector Post a note and tell him to come here, and don't tell him we're waiting for him. Oh, Tom, don't write. They want to hurt Inspector Post. Make it snappy, kid, if you want to keep healthy. So anyways, they write a note. Inspector Post, oh, tell him not to come in, Tom. He writes a little symbol here, so I guess it's like a code that something's wrong. And Inspector Post comes disguised as this old guy. And like, haha, look at Santa Claus. Well, what do you want, Grandpa? All I want, Jake, the Dip, and Louie the Rat, is to see you reach for the ceiling. Keep him up, right? So they get him and everything. It's like, I bet lots of boys and girls would like to join Inspector Post Junior Detective Corps and learn our secret code. Gee, this Post Toasties tastes good. Yes, and Inspector Post says Post Toasties is good for you too. It helps junior detectives keep strong and alert. And then this whole thing, like all of this is like how you join that thing. I'm just reading all this stuff. It's crazy here. Post Junior Detective News. This whole thing is an ad for cornflakes. Like, isn't that incredible? That's awesome to me. I don't know. They were like really hitting hard, like all these advertisings. Plus, like, this is before all that stuff got regulated for kids. They advertised to kids like something fierce. Anyways, this is a nice colorful page. So this is from November 20th, 1932. We're nearing the end of the year. And so here's Tarzan. He encounters a dude. Call me Yellow Man. So this is a stereotype of the time. You can tell what they're supposed to be. Anyways, these armored guys come in front of the yellow man. They prostrate themselves in reverence. Rising at the word from their commander, two soldiers seized Tarzan firmly. With swift blows, the ape man threw them off and leaped for a down-hanging branch, and he takes off. This guy comes following, and it's like as the ape man paused, the yellow man jabbered like a monkey in glee. Gosh. 1932, people. Then he hurled himself through the air, turning a double flip, and came up at Tarzan's feet. So there you go. So here he's encountering another human people in the jungle. And this is Bucky and His Pals by Rob Dickey and Mr. and Mrs. Beans again. Oh, they grabbed. I saw this and I'm like, what happened to them? It's like they grabbed like a sweater or something. Whew. All right. Tarzan, the Sacred Saurian, from November 27th, 1932. So he's talking with this guy. Every gesture that Tarzan made, gosh, they call him the Monkey Man, repeated until Tarzan swung off through the trees to rescue Von Harben and then to hunt for food. But always the Monkey Man did exactly as Tarzan did. So here they're fighting a big crocodile, and they tie him to this tree. Tarzan was about to cut the crocodile steaks for the explorer and the Monkey Man, but when he indicated that the stranger should join them, the dude in a frenzy of rage picked up the knife that Tarzan had discarded and made as if to strike. Here's Bucky and His Pals and Mr. and Mrs. Beans again. I think this is back to Oklahoma. This next one, of course, is the Daily Oklahoman. So the sudden attack by the Monkey Man who had befriended him caught Tarzan off his guard. Then they fight and everything. A cry from Von Harben warned the ape man of danger. The soldiers were upon them. This is from... it's gotta be, it's December 4th, 1932. Tarzan leaped to the trees amid a storm of spears. He caught one to replace the spear he had lost. Anyways, he follows them to this big, city. The foot soldiers were met by a troop of charioteers. The commander pointed toward the tree where Tarzan stood exposed, and in a moment, the chariot troop was sweeping across the desert. The leader was about to shoot the first arrow when Tarzan's spear pierced his heart. Dun! That's violent for a Sunday strip. The manhunt was on. All the force of the Egyptians was aroused against the ape man who had killed one of the sacred crocodiles. So there you go. It's Egyptians. All right, the Bungle family, and someone cut out the stamp here. There you go. And that's from, I think that's Little Brother. I'm just reading this. Huh. All right. This is Tarzan from... I'm trying to see a date here. This does continue from the last one, though, so it's sometime in December. So these are all ancient Egyptians, I guess, still living in the modern day of the 30s. Here's the Monkey Man, accompanied by his Black Panther. So it's Tutankhamun, that's his name. And here Tarzan strikes him. Tarzan took the man's bow and arrow and fled swiftly to the trees, and that's his element. So he's there with his panther buddy. Stealthily they crept toward the ape man as he left. So there you go. Oh yeah, that's Tutankhamun with his panther about to pounce on Tarzan. So Mr. and Mrs. Beans and Bucky and his pals. I love the way this Shaggy dog is drawn. There's more dogs for the bottom margin. All right. Tarzan from December 18th, 1932. Tutankhamun's panther strikes Tarzan. It's a great shot here. And they fight through the trees. And the beast fell to the ground amid a group of the Egyptian soldiers who were hunting the ape man. And he arrows the panther. And then the mighty Tarzan fell pierced by the Egyptian arrows. There you go. He falls too. Here's little brother and the Bungle family. This is the Christmas season, so I guess they're doing something about like getting packages and things. And this is from December 25th, 1932, Christmas Day. If you had finished wrapping your gifts and everything, like, unwrapping your gifts and everything and all that stuff and making your rounds, you sit down to a nice Sunday paper and you get the Sunday comics here. This is incredible stuff. It's all like Egyptian imagery and everything. It's pretty awesome. They take him prisoner and he learns the ropes of all this stuff. The bonds of the prisoners were unloosed. Then they were sent down a long, wide staircase to meet the fate that fiendish minds had devised for those who offended the gods of Egypt. And there you have it. That's the last of the 1932 strips that I have from that collection for Tarzan. Bucky and his pals and Mr. and Mrs. Beans. So this was an experiment to see if I could do it this way, show you some of this stuff. But I'll play around a bit more, and I hope to show a lot more of these old 30s, 40s, and 50s strips. Until next time, take care.